Okay, Susan, we should be all set.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Dr. Kelly. Okay, welcome to the School Committee of the Whole. Today is Tuesday, November 17th. The time is 5:11 p.m. Roll call of the members. Is Doc doing the roll call?
Yes, I am here.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. Mr. Stacy Bronson Rizzo,
Yes.
Miss Anthony D'Ambrosio,
Yes.
Mr. Michael Ferranti,
Here.
Miss Susan Gravelis,
Here.
Mr. Frederick Sanella,
Here.
Miss Carol Ty,
Here.
Mayor Brian Arrigo.
Absent. Okay, first agenda item is the consent calendar, approval of the minutes.
So move,
Second.
Madam Chairman.
Okay, minutes approved. Second agenda item on the consent calendar is the warrants, which are attached. Any questions on the warrants?
I have.
Mr. Ferrante?
I had a couple. Mhm.
Matt, on the first page, number 3738 for workman's comp medical expenses for August and July.
Yep.
It's about 140,000, and I'm assuming that we got more coming September, October. Is that a normal amount, or is that something a little bit higher than normal?
No, that would be higher than normal, but don't forget everything processing wise got slowed down
Okay.
beginning in mid-March. And so you have not seen many bills hitting that workers' comp line. The processing of those bills all smashed in the time frame that we're dealing with now. So we're not seeing that on a monthly basis. That's the buildup of bills that had not been processed for April, May, June, July, hitting in that big swing toward the end of the summer, early fall.
Is it pretty much the same people on workman's comp, or is anybody new to the list?
There's some folks that are steady,
Okay.
and then there are folks that come and go. So a lot of these injuries are a 6 to 9 month situation, and then they'll fade off of it. So in any given 6 to 9 month period, you may see some of the same names. If you back up a year or two at a time, you'll see different names.
All right, Matt, on page 10, number 365, BLW Engineering for 15,625 Project Management Services. Could you just tell me what that's for?
On page 10,
Yep, second line, 365, BLW Engineers, Inc.
oh, that's a bill that we're paying this year for work that was done over the summertime. They were doing project management on something that Carl was doing. Which of the projects? It's cut off here. Project Management Services 4 is not showing up. Let me pull the PL number 5104, and I'll send back up to the committee on that.
And I just have one more. On page 14, number 556, Irmark Educational, about 11,000 cost of operations. What would that be for?
The reason that you're seeing that hit a revolving account expense, so once COVID hit, we were processing the remote food service delivery. And then when the summertime hit, it bridged to the summer free lunch program. And so the bills are being paid. Some of the bills that we will be seeing hit even this late, they're still processing under the summer lunch program. So that's why you're seeing that show up. It's also why it's such a low amount for a month of 11,023 that we're seeing down at the bottom of there. So the reason that's looking different is less meals, and the standards that were used for delivery of that summer program was extended into the remote learning. So that's going to look different for a little while.
Matt, will we reimburse most of it, all the money for the meals during the summer?
Oh yeah. So anything that you're seeing since March here, when we're making a payment to Aramark, it's only because we've been reimbursed for those meals already.
All right, thank you. I'm all set. Thanks, Susan.
I have a few. Page
Ms.
4,
Chai.
number 131. It looked strange. It's not much money. It's only $300, but it says drug control program registration. Was it for one of our people to
Yeah, they were
take a course?
Yeah, they were attending a professional development to make sure that the way that the comprehensive health was dealing with that was in accord with the state. And you'll see that there's no PO number there.
Yes.
This state agency does not take purchase orders. So we had to make an upfront payment of $300 to get them registered for the professional development.
Uh-huh. Thank you. On page 5, I know I'm sensitive to, oil spills here. Remove and replace oily water. It's number 194.
Oh, Trident Environmental, right. That's odd that it's showing you that detail. So what happens on those bills is usually you're seeing a summary in this cell here. What happens on those bills is any chunk of work that they do, we're requiring line item detail. So that would have been the line item detail for that work. This is a district-wide account, so it's not specifying what school it is. But I'm happy to pull the backup on that invoice from Trident and post it to everyone.
Thank you. I was just curious because whether it was at one particular school and I assume so. But
Yeah, let me check.
as I said, the oil spills are
right.
There's another one on page 9. It's for Amoresco on 348. The oil leaks again.
The Trident one certainly would not be an oil spill when we think of that term. It would have been more of something in the cafeteria or something.
Right.
Managing that.
Yeah, some mistake that someone made.
Right. The other was on page 9.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. So that's a maintenance of equipment. That means there would be oil coming not from a pipe, but from equipment itself that Amoresco was dealing with, not something under the ground. That would be a piece of equipment that we use.
And one more, back to page 6.
Yep.
The pest management services, because that happened to be mentioned in the call previously. So pest management, do we have a single purveyor for all of our pest control management?
Yeah, we go out to bid for that annually using a state contract. And the state contract requires that we solicit quotes from 3 of their approved vendors and then award it to the best price. So we could change each year, but once we're locked into a fiscal
to a company,
we're using the same company for routine services and any emergency services that we need. We would have already received an hourly price for that kind of work from them.
So have they done work in all of the schools this fall?
Yes, including my office, because I had a friend hanging out in there with me.
I know. I used to have them visiting me at night too. But I mean, with all the construction that is around,
right.
Even I at home had an infestation this year because of the construction that is going on. And I'm sure that's happening in other places and in other schools as well as other buildings and homes. So
right.
Who is the purveyor now? I'm just curious.
Which line are you looking at?
It doesn't say.
Yeah, so it had been B&B Pest Control, now Sanitary Chemical.
Oh, okay.
The label over to the left there for the pest management services. You see it?
Just curious. Thank you, Matt.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Chai. Do any other members have any questions on the warrants for Matt? Okay, none. We will move on. Next on the consent calendar is food service financials. There are none. Next is the financial reports, which are attached. Mr. Cruz?
So we reviewed this with the Ways and Means Committee and dug into it in that setting. Basically, this is just a quarterly financial report for the first quarter, and we're just making sure that the budget was established as the committee had voted, and that there's no unexpected overruns of series at this point in the fiscal year. And usually this is an uneventful report, which it is this year. There's one or two accounts in the detail that have negative balances now. And we're on top of the reason for that. One is some early retirement incentives that were offered, and people took advantage of those. And that's the 5,000 series. So we'll keep an eye on that and make sure that the series is in the black for the year as we move forward. So first quarter report is really an uneventful checkpoint to make sure we went from your vote in May into the municipal accounting system correctly. And as we've paid bills and run payroll for the first quarter, everything's landing where it should be.
Any questions for Matt?
I have
Mr.
two quick
Ferrante?
ones.
Mr.
Thank
Ferrante?
Thank you. On page 7, Matt, and you probably can explain this real quickly, number 200, Garfield Utilities Contract Cleaning.
Yep.
What was budgeted and was expensed and encumbered. Is that money entirely encumbered? That's why we it doesn't show anything
Right,
left
so
in the account?
that's a great example of how this report works. That first column is showing what was budgeted. The second column is showing either expenses or encumbrances. And for a contract like this, we encumber the entire amount to the start of the year. And then as the year flows by, that will be spent down from there. So seeing a zero balance is nothing to worry about at this point with the contracted cleaning. And then you can see the percentage to the right shows we've actually only used 14% of the contract to date, and we'll be rolling out payments as the year goes.
Okay. And my last question, page 8, number 242, civic service, other salaries.
Yep.
It looks like that we've burned like almost 40% of that thing. What is exactly in that account?
That's the shared cost between the city and the schools for security at the stadium.
Okay.
And the reason it surges is because in the winter months, there's no security patrolling the stadium
Okay.
to the same degree as in the fall or the spring months.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Matt?
No?
No, no other questions? I believe you will be free to leave, Matt, if you'd like.
Okay, just a reminder, in the school committee meeting tonight, you'll be doing a quick vote to appropriate the free cash carry forward into Fund 1 for this year and on basis of the Ways and Means Committee. So you'll take care of that. And then I'll get together with Rich this week to actualize that in the system and then be able to start doing projections for how this fiscal year is rolling out. So don't forget to take that vote later.
We will. It's on the motions.
All right, great. All right, I'll see everybody December.
See you later, Matt.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Bye, Matt. Thank you. And Mayor Arrigo has just joined us. Welcome, Mr. Mayor. Okay, next on the consent calendar is communication, disposal of outdated textbooks. Let's see. Do we need to vote on this, Diane? You're muted.
Sorry. You do need to take a vote to allow the Rumney Marsh Academy to dispose of some outdated textbooks that they've had in storage for decades and now would like to reclaim the storage space that they have.
Okay, would anyone like to make a motion?
Well, do we make it here or do we have to make it on the floor?
We can move it off of the consent
It's on
calendar
the-
to the floor.
Yeah, it needs to be on the floor.
Yeah, I think so.
So just take it out of the consent calendar and vote on it then.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, next on the consent calendar is enrollment update.
And we don't have one for this month. We did one last month, and we'll do another one probably in January. Our
Perfect.
enrollment has been relatively stable in the last several weeks. Once we got flowing, there haven't been a lot of ins and outs.
Oh, good. Do we still have a decrease in students?
We do. We have
Really?
an overall decrease. Yeah,
Wow. That's the first time in how many decades?
I know. And you know, a lot of it has to do with the early childhood and kindergarten classes. That's where the majority of our decrease is. And it's understandable that in our current environment, a lot of parents opted not to enroll kids. Compulsory education begins with age 6 at grade 1, so even kindergarten is not required. So we're not surprised to see that bit of a trend.
Okay, thank you. Okay, personnel items are attached. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Kelly regarding the personnel items? No questions on that? Okay, no questions on new hires. Okay, next is acceptance of donations and gifts, which there are none. School field trips, which there are none. And now moving on to agenda item number 2, student chairs to go with Seacoast Service Project desks. Dr. Kelly?
Thank you. So I think that you all know that the Seacoast kids have been working with Mr. Michael Flynn and some other teachers at Seacoast. Their principal, Stacy Mulligan, put together a service project program for those kids to engage in while we're not in school. And small numbers of kids have been coming to work on the desks, staying socially distant and observing proper PPE protocols, of course, but building desks in order to fill the need for what teachers identified as some kids doing their remote learning, but not having a dedicated workspace to work from and a place to keep their supplies and materials and that stuff. So they've been working for a number of weeks now, building desks for Beachmont students. I think they've done a tremendous job, and I know it's been a great project for the Seacoast kids and will be a great outcome for our Beachmont kids. And, you know, one of the things that Dr. Napier brought up in the course of this project was, all right, so they're going to have a desk, but some of them might not have a size appropriate chair to sit in at the desk. And we do have quite a large store of perfectly well-working desks that we removed from the McKinley building when that was decommissioned when the Hill School opened. And what we were hoping to do with the committee's permission is give students one of those student-sized desks, chairs, to go with each of the desks when they are distributed.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah.
I was talking earlier to Diane about it. I had the opportunity to visit and see the desks, and they're adorable. And the kids worked really hard. I really do want to give a big kudos out to Maureen Lenahan for coming up with the idea. And then also the teachers' names, Brian McKenna and Jenny Urban, who have been working really hard on it also. And even our old friend, Dan McGuire, has been doing a lot of work with the students on it and taking a lot of pride. So I want to thank them for getting involved and getting the kids involved. The kids are really excited about doing this and looking forward to doing more. I know Maureen had said that they applied for a grant to do a lot more desks, but I said I'd be more than happy if anyone has money floating around, they'd be perhaps make a donation towards such a good goal for these students, and our younger students really would appreciate. They've done, like, not only give them the desk, but they've bought like pencil cases, and some of the desks have chalkboard paint on top of it so they can use chalk on top. So any little bit helps if you have it or if you think of it. But they did a great job, and I'm glad I got the opportunity to see it.
And
Oh,
Susan, through you to Stacy.
Yes.
Stacy,
Yeah?
if you have any idea for a donation or anything else, I'm quite certain the Grace Hill Sonella Foundation would be glad to make a donation if you could let me know to whom or whatever.
Yeah, you were the first person I said, oh, let me count his wallet, you know.
Well, it's the foundation's wallet, so I'd be only too happy to. That's the intent of it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's a great, Grace would be really pleased with this project. So I think that's a good idea.
Thank you.
So, Stacy, just send us some information on it, name, address, send a check. Be glad to help out.
I will. It will probably go to their school account. So I will ask Dr. Stacy.
Dr. Mulligan, yeah.
Dr. Mulligan, how she would like it, and then I'll let everyone know tomorrow.
All right.
Okay.
Oh,
That'll
that's
be
great.
good.
And I'll add that they've been able to build these desks for relatively short money. So even a small donation will have a big impact.
I want to say Tom Mischie was a big part of the donations too. So this is right up his alley anyhow. So I'm glad he's still helping out any way he can.
And one of our plans for a future school committee meeting will include a presentation by the students and staff who are engaged in this project. And they'll have some pictures at that time that they can share of kids benefiting from the project.
Oh, nice.
Diane,
Very
has the enrollment increased any more over the last numbers that you gave us?
It hasn't increased significantly, no.
Okay.
I think when I asked today, there was 78, maybe, give or take a couple. So they would like another 78 if you happen to find some students that want to attend, but.
All right. Very good.
Yep.
Well,
Thank you,
just
Stacy.
give us the information and
Thank you. We're glad you had the chance to stop in and see the desks.
Me too.
I want to point out that Mr. D'Ambrosio has his hand raised. I'm not sure if Susan
Oh,
can
I'm
see
sorry. I didn't even see it.
no, it's okay. My bad. I was just going to say, if you have links for any of this stuff, no worries. If not, please forward them around because I'm sure a lot of us can share them on social media and get some more clicks for fundraising.
Yeah, Mr. Cruz is gone now, but I know that Ryan will be talking about this later tonight in the student report. We met this afternoon, and we're still trying to work out with City Hall how we can set up some electronic accounts, some Venmo type accounts for fundraising that would include the different classes. And this would be a perfect example of how that could be really helpful. So I owe call back to Mr. Cruz on that, and I'll keep you posted if we're able to set those up.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Kelly. Anyone else have any other questions or comments about the student chairs and desks Seacoast project? Okay, next agenda item is the Equity, Inclusion, and Diversity Subcommittee, which was voted on July 21st. Dr. Kelly, did you want to speak
I think
on
that's
this?
Mrs. Rizzo who,
Yes, I
Mrs.
asked for
Rizzo.
this to be put on the agenda because we did vote it on July 21st. I didn't want this to be a committee in name only. If we want a district that is equitable, we need to address the microaggressions, the curriculum. We need to address our budget so that our school improvement plans and we supply professional development in our budget. We need an equity vision statement. We need a living, breathing document to keep the work alive that everyone's been doing on it. So I'm asking for this group to be formed ASAP so that the work can get started.
so do you mean a subcommittee of the school committee of your membership, correct?
Right, we voted on July 21st to make a subcommittee.
Okay, so we can get started on that.
So if we can at least get it done by, December, and then, some of the work can get started, that'd be appreciated.
Do you need to appoint members, or how?
Normally, it would be the vice chair that sets up all the committees. So if she can think about it and get back to us by December, that would be good.
Okay, yep, I'll get to
Okay.
that. And, setting up that committee where it was your idea, Stacy. I'd like it if you were chair of that committee, obviously, if you accept
Well, I
that.
mean, again, think about it and the work that needs to be done, and then you can let us know.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone have any questions about that or comments?
Well, yeah, I thought Anthony had taken the forefront in that, and Anthony was chairing that committee.
That
Am I
was a-
mistaken about that?
That was
That's
a different group.
different.
That's the Equity Advisory Board, Carol.
Well, how many different committees are we having to do the same thing?
So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, the purpose of the Equity Advisory Board is to coalesce its membership is fundamentally different. That's teachers, administrators, parents, leaders versus the subcommittee, which is just us and sort of examines what's going on there. We can chat offline as well, but they're two different functions.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions regarding the subcommittee? Seeing none, we'll move on. Shore Collaborative replacement, Stacy. I know you've been doing it for a while.
I brought that up also. I've been doing it, I want to say, going on my 5th year. I love the work at Shore Collaborative. I mean, the students, the staff, the administration. I really do not have a problem attending the meetings on a monthly basis. But I really would appreciate if someone else can pick it up and attend on the 2nd Tuesday of each month. My plate is really it's full. If no one steps up, of course, I will keep it going. We have to have a school committee on that board. So I will make sure if no one else wants to step up, I will keep it. But I'm asking if someone would think about it and perhaps start in the first of the year. Again, you can get back to the committee maybe in December. Think about it.
I can send out an email to all of us so we can, have a conversation and see, who would like to step into that position this time. So I'll send that email out and then we can discuss it. Also, Stacy, policy subcommittee replacement. If everyone remembers, Stacy did step down from being the chair of that committee, and we need to replace that. Currently on the policy and procedures is myself and Fred. So I'm not sure if Michael, Carol, or Anthony would like to move over to the policy and procedure subcommittee.
Susan, can I speak on that?
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
So I have never mind doing the work of the policy subcommittee. I came in 8 years ago, I took it. Policies were not updated since 1983. So I know with the help of the members that I've worked with along the way, there was a lot of work put into updating our policies to now. But when the work that I do is being questioned and I don't know, I'm not, just when I'm doing work and I'm being questioned, and I always do work, given my time, doing my homework before I present anything, it's a little disheartening I know everyone's here and they know they think they work hard. I know I do also. So at that point, if it's not appreciated, it's not worth it.
Thank you, Stacy.
Okay.
So, I mean, we can discuss that via email and make a decision. Okay, we can move on to the next agenda item, the Mass Call 3 MOU. I had put that on the agenda. I got a message from Nicole at the SUDI office. Fred, I apologize. You're probably the only one I didn't communicate about this with, because I had sent everyone a text message with the attachment and I couldn't send you a text message. I had been meaning to call you and I just never got to the phone.
That's quite all right.
I'm not sure if you read the attachment that Robin put on the agenda, just explaining what it was. I mean, it's basically all it is asking if we support and sign on to the Mass Call 3 grant that the SUDI office is getting. I can read some of the stuff that.
No, I did read on that and I assumed that we're all in favor of it. No problem.
Right. So we can bring that to the floor and vote in favor of it. Okay. I'm not sure if that's on the floor. No. So
I had a question. I had a
Yes.
question on the 3 things they were asking for the school committee to commit to.
Okay.
Do you have it in front of you?
Let me just.
Yeah, I had a question on that too. It's on the second page.
I mean, I'm kind of questionable on that.
Is that the one that says, hello, my name's Ryan Barry, that one?
No, I believe it's a
No,
second
it doesn't.
one.
As a member of the school, as a member of the cluster, the school committee intends to participate in a needs assessment, participate in planning, and engage throughout the course. And,
Oh, okay.
you know, as the fact is, it's probably not the school committee that's going to be doing all of this. It's going to be the administration getting somebody who's on board to do it. So I think we need an opinion from the superintendent about the feasibility of this. Is this something that we can take on? I think it's an admirable thing, but I hate to pile one more burden on anybody. So
Yeah, and we have spoken to the SUDI office as well, and we are in favor of doing this work, and we'll do what we need to do to support it.
good, great.
And I just questioned, it was due yesterday.
It's actually, Nicole
Was it
told me
20?
it was due early December. They had changed the date.
I
And
think
you
they
know-
extended it because of all the difficulty people were having getting paperwork done,
Right.
Okay.
the current climate.
And, you know, I apologize, I didn't say it prior to. I did check with Diane before I sent this to everyone, making sure that this was something that she was in favor of and supporting. Because at that time, Nicole did tell me that Diane, you and Mayor Arrigo were signing your own individual ones. And she wanted, you know, one from the school committee of the whole. So my apologies for not explaining that to all the other members, that I did check with Dr. Kelly first to make sure that she
No
was good with all
apology
of this.
needed.
Okay,
It's a
and-
great thing, and I think it'll be wonderful. They do a good job, an excellent job there.
And I don't mean to wordsmith or anything, but it says, as a member of the school committee, you will participate and engage. So
Well-
it's not like we're giving Diane permission, it states as a member.
Well, it says as a member of the cluster.
Of the cluster.
I question that too,
Right.
but I think it just means that the school committee is a member of the cluster. So the school committee would have to be providing things. Now, I don't know if anyone looked at the words that carefully, Stacy, or not.
Yeah.
And I think the important piece that they want to know is that the school committee is in support of the initiative, and not that if a superintendent signed off on it, and then a part of the initiative came up a month or two from now, that the committee wouldn't support it, or, something of that nature. I think that's really what they're concerned with. I think that as a collective team, we can figure out how we can all effectively participate, to the levels that we're able to.
Diane, do we all need to sign this?
I don't know if they wanted everybody's signature, Susan, or did they want,
I
Because all our names
actually,
are on it.
right, I actually spoke with Nicole today and she said one signature would be fine. I let her know it's a public meeting that, you know, if we voted yes on it, that would be verification that we're all in support of it. Because I told her we do meet remotely, so it might be difficult to get all of our signatures. So she said one would be fine.
Okay, thank you.
And Mayor Arrigo as a chair could sign it for all of us.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
No?
So we'll bring that on the floor to vote. Okay, and now agenda item number 7, regular meeting agenda items and miscellaneous. Dr. Kelly?
Yeah, and so there are quite a few things in the superintendent's report tonight. The two featured schools are going to be the Hill School and the Paul Revere. And in each case, we have the principal with a couple of teachers and a couple of students who are going to come and talk to you about the work that they've been doing this school year, such as it is. And so they'll be giving presentations. After that, Dr. Garcia is going to give a presentation on the work of the Equity Advisory Board. We have begun the initial stages of formation with that group. And Doc has taken the lead, so he'll take you through all of the work that they've been doing and the work that they have upcoming. A couple of grant opportunities that they're working on, and he'll take you through all of that. I'm trying to think of what else was there. I'm going to give a brief overview of the district improvement goals, which I sent to you all last week. We did make one language adjustment because in the goals, the team that Doc is working with had originally been calling themselves the Equity Council. And so for clarity, we wanted to make sure the vocabulary was the same and made that Equity Advisory Board, just so that it's clear for everybody, which helped us because there are school-based teams as well, and they're calling themselves equity teams now. So it made us refine our language a little bit, which was good. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Mr. Svensson will be on the call a little bit later in the meeting so that we're going to share the update on the HVAC reports at the Beachmont, the Garfield, and the high school. And you will recall that we talked earlier this year about how the univents in those 3 buildings were not initially creating the number of airflow exchanges that we would like to have in this current climate. And the first response we had to that, the first piece of information we had from the Harvard C.H. Chan School was that we should make sure windows open. And we undertook that work, which got us through the late summer and early spring. But we dedicated ourselves to ensuring that we could find other solutions without having to open windows. And Carl and his team have done an unbelievable job working with the Amoresco and the experts from Barrett to come in and find other pieces. And what they did was fine tune the controls in the univents, which was helpful, and also determined that we need to put MERV 13 filters in the univents themselves. We've already installed MERV 13 filters in all of our rooftop systems at all of our buildings, but adding the MERV 13s to the univents in these 3 buildings will increase the number of air exchange equivalencies in each classroom. So we'll talk more about this on the regular meeting. I have the data to share with everybody. I sent you that as well yesterday. We got that back, got those reports back yesterday, and we can take a look at that report together on the main meeting. And I can show you the numbers that demonstrate the sufficient air exchange rates. And Carl will be available if any questions come up that you want to direct to him. And then finally, I'm just going to give a brief introduction. We just found out that we did get another Safe Routes to School grant. And this one is going to be for the Beachmont School. This is similar to the project that happened, what was it? No, it was last year, I think, at the Garfield School. I forget now if it was last year or the year before, but They do a great job
That
about,
was the year before.
was it 2 years ago? My
I think
gosh.
that was 2 years ago, yeah.
They really do a great job and make sure that sidewalks are safe and crossings are properly visible and well painted and kid friendly, and that crossings are located in safe spaces and all that kind of work. So that's really exciting. And it's Julie DeMauro in the mayor's office who has secured that grant for us. And she'll be working with Dr. Napier and Dr. Mulligan in the Beachmont area to figure out the work that's going to happen down there specifically.
Diane, how much was the grant?
I don't know offhand. Do you know, Brian?
I don't know. Generally, they're in the ballpark of, I want to say $200,000 to $300,000 because there's usually some bump out work that needs to be done. And I know with Garfield, we had to actually purchase some, make some land acquisitions for some small pieces of property that we needed in order to make the sidewalk safe. So I can send the committee the exact amount, but it's usually in the ballpark of a couple $100,000.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Beachmont Improvement Committee worked on the Garfield one, so that it was saving labor, and I think made a contribution as well as labor, actually a monetary contribution. And we've been discussing that all along and are committed to doing something like that, committed not only to working on it and help to plan some of the design for the initial part of it anyway. I'm not sure if the design might have been changed, but very happy about it. Very happy.
So we basically just had the discussion that we'll have on the floor.
Okay.
We can repeat this to the
Okay.
folks who are watching then. And that's it. I know that Ryan has a few updates from the student perspective that he's going to share with you. And there are, of course, a number of motions on the agenda that you've seen already. And I think that's about it.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, so it looks like we have time for a 7-minute break, and
Stacy has a question.
Diane, I attached a YouTube.
yes,
I-
you did.
Is that possible for you to play it at that point? And I just want to explain to people, it's just a really good short video after a long meeting on students expressing microaggressions in their schools.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's very short.
I'll be able to play that during the meeting. Yep,
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
no problem.
Okay. Very good. If there's no more questions, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Okay, motion to adjourn at 5:53. We will see everyone in 7 minutes.
Do you have that other Zoom link?
I'm going and look right now.